Ah, another fine, beautiful, sunny day to come out and work on Pinecone.
But then winter descended.
It's freaking cold outside now. Well, it's a wonderfully cool day. There's actually some shade for the first time in forever. I'm out here working on the final steps of preparation for hopefully finishing up the flatbed. Elliot's due to stop by tomorrow, and we're looking at taking these frame sections and welding them to the top of these frame sections, and hopefully making some kind of dovetail arrangement on the back. And then as far as fabrication work goes, that should be about the last of it. I've got this one on the right here all, well, about as cleaned up and prepped and ready to go as I'm going to bother. Yeah, between the grinder, a scraper, and a big jug of phosphoric acid, getting the job done. And also, to those of you who might have some reservations about us just flux coring this frame onto the top of that frame, there are noticeably several areas where you can definitely see the MIG wire. This stuff is all factory, and judging by these little offshoots of where they were welding and they just broke off, the flux core wire I have is at least as thick, if not maybe even a little thicker. So at the very least, I'm welding to the same standards as 1978 Ford manufacturing did, or Holiday Rambler manufacturing did, whichever one. Well, we're back at it once again, shouting at each other like we're old people because we're wearing hearing equipment.
It's not a Tootsie Roll this time.
We're looking to lop this section of the intermediate frame off so that we can deal with it later. And after that, we're going to install our super duper lift mounts, mount lift brace.
Body lift, bro.
Body lifts.
Clear 35s.
Yeah, we're gonna go mudding in this thing, so we gotta make sure we've got big tires, and maybe we could even get some of those specialty ones where they're basically got like the swim paddles on the outside of the wheel.
Well, you know what we could do? Revise the trailing axle so it's dually like the front one, and just have like a short little track section between them.
Oh, there you go.
That would work mint.
We could make this thing into a half track. We'll figure that out after we get the body lift kit installed. Well, of course, the worker's curse has struck us yet again. We get all these body lift kit mounted, and we're going away, welding up a storm, and right as we're on the last one, going part of the way through, the welder quits working. Don't really know what the heck is going on. And of course, now that I'm filming, it'll work just perfectly, but... Son of a... I literally can't believe this. So guess what? I went to go and film and show what the problem was, and as soon as I had the camera on it, it's working again.
Typical. Now for posterity, I will capture Zach setting fire to himself. I don't think you're going to have any iron deficiency in your soil.
And with that, we're good to go.
We got a body lift, bro.
Another day, another round of dickerage.
Ow.
Well, so as Elliot...
A mistake.
Yeah, as Elliot goes ahead and pulls all the hair out of his head, we're here...
It's another day.
Going to try and attempt to see if we can get the hydraulic leveler system to kick it all. Elliot's currently working on trying to figure out how the solenoid and stuff works. We've got the levers down there to activate the hydros.
Okay, so I'm going to run the wires out to here so that we can actuate this thing while not lying underneath it.
Yeah, if the hydros decide, like if the lines decide to burst for whatever reason, it'd be better if we weren't underneath the car.
Directly in the line of fire.
Yeah.
So the battery is still unhooked at this point.
Yeah, the entire battery for the whole car is unhooked.
Very good. The only hydraulic system I've really worked on is the one in an International corn binder snowplow, which uses a power steering pump. So, very different system. Well, let's plug her in and see if she explodes.
Alright, question. Do we want to have the fire extinguisher handy and not locked inside the car?
That might be an intelligent course of action, yes.
Locked inside the car that would presumably be on fire, yeah.
Never underestimate the power of total fools.
Yeah.
So,
And with that stunning display of confidence, let's test this sucker out. Go ahead. Well, that seems to work just fine. Alright, so we figured out how to actually hook it up properly, so now we don't even need to touch the solenoid wires together. It's hooked up so that when you pull the lever, it only operates the pump when it's actually supposed to be pumping fluid.
as demonstrated.
It's like something out of Star Wars. So yeah, now we test the other ones.
Yeah.
Gonna try this other front one just a bit. Yeah, that's working. It's nice you've also, it seems to have a little bit of control over how much fluid is pumping in. You can kind of alter the
Feather
flow.
it just slightly.
Yeah, feather the flow just a little bit.
Yep, she's coming down. Spraying. This probably standard batteries. Okay, let's say that's as high as it goes. So we can't use them for changing tires, but still not bad. Alright, last one. Nice. We have hydros.
We've got a working hydraulic lifter system.
Yeah, and now all we have to do is unmount them from the frame and mount them up between the frame and the axles. We've got a vajito. Nice.
Awesome.
So when we first got this thing going, we made a really sketchy electrical connection just to get her to charge.
Well, actually, this wasn't when we got her going. What this is is it used to have a switcher box in here for the secondary battery.
Right, for the battery in the back that rusted the floor out.
Yeah, and so I pulled that unit out, and this cable will run all the way down to the alternator, but I was too lazy to reach down and disconnect this cable from the back of the battery, so I just...
Back of the Alti.
The back of the alternator, sorry. And so I just went and tacked those together.
And then wrapped some duct tape over it. It hasn't caught fire yet.
But figure we should probably do something about that before we finally forget about it.
Yeah. It was a temporary solution.
Yeah, temporary solution that we then used to spoon around the driveway a couple times.
Well, there's nothing so permanent as a temporary solution.
Speaking of which...
Yeah, we might need a better hold down for the puke tank.
It looks like this goes down and sort of loops up and then connects to the back of the Alti somewhere, but it might be easier to take the Alti off rather than trying to braille it from here, because
Stick your hand down there, but I can't find the stud.
So that one little alternator cable job ended up turning into
A bloodbath.
a bloodbath, quite literally in Elliot's case.
I've left a little piece of myself inside of Pinecone now.
This one main bolt holding the alternator in is giving us a heck of a time. The biggest problem we've been wrestling with is the fastener in there. We're not sure if it's rusted or corroded or what, but
Oh, it's rusted and corroded and what?
it definitely doesn't want to come out nicely. Well, I don't see what was wrong with it. It looks just fine to me.
Does now.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference, and actually, yeah.
Doesn't look bent.
Well, got it out, and I only dropped the alternator once, so we'll call that a good thing. Well, many hours of toil, shouting, and blood later, we finally got the alternator back together and in one piece, all to just run one cable down to the alternator. So now we're going on to the part that we actually wanted to get done today. Move this section of the frame over and size up where it needs to be cut, because we put a cab end on the back and that frame won't really fit on there anymore. Right, well, so best laid plans of mice and men and all that. We had these grandiose visions of the future where we would dovetail the entire frame and have it come down to a slope. And you know, when you come down to the reality of it, we're just too tired.
Also, that is a lot of metal to cut through with that.
And a lot of metal to weld through with this.
Yeah.
So we decided instead of notching the entire vehicular frame, we're just kind of going to bring the lifted part of the frame down to the original port, giving us kind of a bit of a slope, but still allowing us enough clearance over the wheels, which was the main point of the lifting point.
And the way we've done that is we just didn't put the body lifts at the back one here.
Yep. And so now we're just angling, tying everything in to meet that angle downward.
Give her some welly. There we go. Pinecone has arisen from its slumber.
And once again, we're on the open road. Oh, this is ludicrous. Yeah. Once more, another successful drive. All right, we got her down here. Now we're pretending to be professional by measuring things. We've got her onto a flat level surface, or at least what we assume is a flat level surface. It's more flat and level than the side of the yard over there.
The frame was twisting and racking, and so everything was sticking out funny.
Right now we're kind of trying to measure up the center, make sure it's centered side to side. Da 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 da. Well, after a whole day's worth of fiddling, welding, grinding, hammering, and associated bleeding.
Let's screw with that damn alternator.
Yeah. We've managed to get the back half of the frame tacked on. We've got this angle on the back about where we want it for what it is, and I'm definitely thinking we're going to be hacking off these C-channel bits a little bit closer to the end. But yeah, aside from that, fabricate a bumper, throw some brake lights, license plate on it, good to go. Elliot's going to have to go home after tomorrow, and I got work tomorrow, so we can't stay up all night. And on that bombshell, unless there happens to be anything else noteworthy, I'll go ahead and sign off. Maybe we'll film us driving. Maybe we'll drive around the yard a little bit.
Speaking of noteworthy, I'm gonna go make sure the pizza oven's not on fire.
Yeah, it's only been 10 minutes, so we should be good.